Got the road jersey on. What does that mean? Lions are on the road this week. It's been every other week. They were at home last week, so on the road this week against Minnesota. This is your Wolfpack Friday preview. It's the 3-2 Detroit Lions going to Minnesota to face the 2-3 Minnesota Vikings. Last week the Lions lost to the Bills 17-14, and the Minnesota Vikings lost in Green Bay 42-10 on Thursday night. There's a few big storylines going into this one. I think the biggest one being Calvin Johnson's out for the Lions. Well, I shouldn't say out. He's doubtful to play, which he hasn't practiced all week. Even in years past when he's been hurt, he's at least practiced once. He hasn't done anything all week, so he's pretty much out. Also, Reggie is questionable, but we'll get to that. But those two injuries for the Lions are really the only two big things for the Lions. Teddy Bridgewater's back for Minnesota. He probably would have played last week had they had played on Sunday instead of Thursday night. He had a good week against Atlanta a couple weeks ago. I got his stats up right here. He went 19-30 for 317. No touchdowns, no picks. Very even-keeled game, very efficient. Had a 98.9 rating. So that's the only bit of NFL work that we've seen from him. I've talked to a lot of people about this game. They keep bringing up his college work, and it just makes me laugh. You can talk about anyone's college work and how good they were in college means absolutely nothing in the pros. So that's all the only game action we got from him. So he played good, but Atlanta isn't exactly world beaters. Against the pass, they're 10th worst, giving up 259 yards a game, giving up 407 total yards. So they have one of the worst defenses in the league. So we'll see how good Bridgewater is, or if it's a product of the defense they were playing. The other big one with the Lions, I know I just said that they didn't have other big ones, but the other big one, they cut Alex Henry last week, or on Monday, which is pretty funny because they didn't even try anyone out till Tuesday, so they pretty much were saying, yeah, you're not going to be our kicker. We don't know who is, but whoever it is going to be better than you. So they cut him on Monday, brought in a couple guys on Tuesday, signed Matt Prater, coming off a 4-game suspension with Denver for alcohol abuse, or substance abuse due to alcohol. So the other thing, matchups. Like I said last week, I always look at, okay, how does our pass offense rank against their pass defense and stuff like that. So the Lions are 10th in the league in pass yardage at 262 pass yards per game, going up against the Minnesota Vikings defense, which is 11th in the league, giving up 226. So we get more passing yards than they give up. Rush yards, we're still at the bottom of the league with 83.6, 28th in the league, going up against their rush defense, which isn't that good. I mean, they're just under average at 19th in the league at 121.8. So there's some yards to be had there. On the other side, their strength is a run game. They rush for 130 yards a game, which is 10th in the league, and we have the third best rush defense at 70. We only give up 74 per game, and then they're at the bottom of the league in pass yardage. Granted, Bridgewater had over 300 yards, so he had a good game, but the other quarterbacks that they had weren't doing too good. But for the season, they're 205 yards per game, sitting at 27th, going up against our pass defense, which is 6th in the league, giving up only 208. So, the matchups favor the Lions in all the categories except for a rush offense. Their rush defense is, better than our rush offense. So, with Reggie being out, I don't know how. I'm sure they'll run more because Reggie isn't exactly a between the tackles runner, and they're trying to get George Wynn some more carries. So I think Bell's going to do more of the Bush stuff, with more carries, and then Wynn's going to do all the dirty work. But going and looking at injuries, we got it's almost almost like a preseason game with this one. Calvin's doubtful. Reggie's questionable. Neither one are expected to play. Fourier is out. Theo Riddick, the third running back for the Lions, he's probable, so he'll probably play. He should play. Joique Bell is probable. He will play. They've already said he will. Cassius Vaughn, which is a big one because of our cornerback depth is so bad, but he's probable, so he'll be playing. The Vikings, the big injuries they have is Kyle Rudolph, their stud young tight end, is out. Chad Greenway, one of their best linebackers, is doubtful, so he probably won't be playing. And Harrison Smith, their safety, good safety. I've heard that he's probably not. He's only questionable, but I've heard that it's leaning more towards doubtful than probable for that one. So those are the big injuries. Obviously, with the Lions, the big one being Calvin. So 3 keys. Wolfpack SK's 3 keys to victory for the Lions. Last week I said it was to establish the run, which they did not do. Limit the turnovers, which they were they pushed in turnovers. They both had 1 turnover. So, I think the turnover they gave up wasn't that big a deal. We got a pick 6, so we won that side of it. And then the third one, I think, was to get pressure on Orton. I don't think it really affected him too much. He had the most yardage out of everyone we've played this year. So hopefully that trend doesn't continue and that was a one-time thing. Maybe it was pass protection, because that definitely, if I said that, that was definitely wrong, because the Lions gave up 6 sacks. Stafford is on pace for the most sacks ever in his career. So they didn't really follow my 3 keys last week, but for this week, for week 6, I think 3 keys for victory for the Lions are ball distribution for Stafford since Calvin's out, number 1. Number 2, again, is the run game. Get the run game going. Opens up everything else. Plus shortens the game a little bit. And the big one, I think, is limit big plays. Every time we play Minnesota, it seems we give up a kick return, and then we give up a punt return, and then Cordell Patterson gets like an 80-yard rush, or he gets an 80-yard screen play for a touchdown. So with Bridgewater being as mobile as he is, I think the key for that defense is to make sure that we contain the big plays. Don't give up a bunch of big plays to them. The run game, like I said, with Bush more likely being out, Bell and Wynn, they're more downhill runners, and Theo is there, to play a Bush role. I think Joique Bell and Theo Riddick are going to split that Bush role. And Wynn is going to be used exclusively for running up the middle. We saw last week he doesn't have good hands. I think he dropped 2. I know he had at least 1 drop. But ball distribution. So I think Golden Tate is 5th in the league in receiving. Something like that. He's been playing amazing with Calvin being hampered the last couple weeks. So, we got to get the other guys the ball. We got to get Jeremy Ross the ball. We got to get Ryan Broyles the ball. We got to get Corey Fuller some passes. Maybe Ebron can finally, have a 4 or 5, 6 catch game for the touchdown. So, we'll see with that. The other big thing with the ball distribution is that everything I've heard this week is how Stafford sucks when Calvin's not in. Now, I've been working on this project here where I've been kind of dissecting Stafford's stats, seeing how he plays on the road, how he plays at home, stuff like that. Well, I pulled up since 2011 because I think 2009, 2010 don't really count. He only played 10 games in 2009, and he only played in, I think, 3 games in 2010. So I don't count those 2 years. I only went from 2011 when Stafford was a full-time starter. He played, the whole season. Since 2011, Calvin has either been out or has gotten 2 or less targets in 4 games. And I would say for Calvin, 2 targets he's a non-factor. When I was doing this, I think the closest he came, other than 2, was like 5 or 6. So he usually gets at least 6 targets a game. So 2, basically, he's non-existent. He's, more or less a decoy. So the Lions are 1-3 in those games. So obviously the win-loss isn't good, But just looking at Stafford's numbers, his numbers without Calvin or with a hampered Calvin, his numbers are higher in all categories when Stafford or when Calvin's on, except for pass yards. His completion percentage is up compared to if you take all of his games combined. So his with all of his games combined, he averages 7.75 yards per attempt, and he's got 7.3. So it's a little lower. So I'm sorry about that. It's a little lower without Calvin. The completion percentage with Calvin is 61.7 for his career since 2011, and then without Calvin it's 64.5. So his completion percentage actually goes up without Calvin. He's thrown 5 TDs and only 1 interception, with that 1 interception being last week against the Bills when Calvin only had that 1 catch. So in 4 games he went 5-1 touchdown interceptions. His QBR is a little lower without Calvin. That's that ESPN total quarterback rating kind of thing. His QB rating, the time-tested, the standard QB rating, is a 95, and his average since 2011 has been 88.6. So it went up 7 points when he doesn't have Calvin to throw to. So, and the other thing about Stafford not showing up this year, he probably should be playing better, but his numbers across the board, other than yards, and touchdowns, are going up. His yards are going down, but his completion percentage is up. His average per attempt is up. His interceptions are down. His fumbles are down. His QBR is up, and his rating is up. So he's having a lot better year this year than he has in the last couple of years. So we'll see if it continues. Obviously, he's the most important player on the team. He's not the best player. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's the most important player. We can go without Calvin and still win. I don't think we can win with Dan Orlovsky. I mean, shit, he was our quarterback in 2008 and he proved he can't win. So that's how I look at this game. That's all the key points to the game. So the prediction, I think the Lions win 24-13. Just like, I was way off last week when I said 31-10. I thought they would put up a lot more points, but you win some, you lose some. I was wrong last week. But I think having no Calvin is better than having a decoy Calvin. Because when you have a decoy Calvin, you're not throwing to him. That's a whole side of the field that you don't even have to worry about, that you can't throw to, so that you're limiting yourself. So I think, with not having a hampered Calvin out there and having some healthy bodies against a pretty bad defense, I think we're going to get it done. If we're going to get him, remember, last week, playing Jim Schwartz, he knows our team. He knows our weaknesses. He knows who to go after on the line. He had 3 sacks against Rob Sims. Gave up 3 sacks. I think he knows something there. So he knew exactly what to call, all that kind of stuff. So last week is kind of, I called it a fluke earlier this week. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it's definitely something that you kind of gotta look at, as being okay. If it happens again, then it's a trend. But if it doesn't happen again, it's kind of chalk one up as, the old coach got us. Like I said, I think the Lions win 24-13. The other thing about these stats that I'm working on with Stafford, it's funny. The last couple of years, he's actually played better on the road than he has at home, which I don't know if he feels the pressure of trying to be better for his fans, for Lions fans or what, but he's actually had slightly better numbers on the road. So far this year, his rating on the road is 94.5, and his rating at home is 88.6. So it's up, 7 points on the road. Three of his interceptions came at home, and only 1 came on the road. have 3 touchdowns both, and then his yardage per game is up on the road. His completion percentage is almost completely even, 63.9 at home, 63.5 on the road. So, you know, I don't know why Stafford seems to play, and it, like I said, the last couple of years is the same thing. He plays a little bit better on the road, which is kind of surprising. So, we'll see. It's an NFC North matchup. We're 1-0 in the division. We're number 1. We're tied with Green Bay, but, you know, if the season were to end today, we had the tiebreaker because we're, you know, undefeated in the division. So, we need to get this win, go up 2-0 in the division, drop the Vikings down to 0-2, and yeah, that's basically it. That's our preview here. If you have any comments, you know, you think I'm wrong about something, you think Teddy Bridgewater is the second coming of Fran Tarkenton or something, you know, just let us know. You know, I've been debating this topic with people all week, so I wouldn't mind keeping it going, you know, until Sunday, seeing what happens. But this is it for this week. Go Lions. Expect another video like always on Monday, recapping the game, going over what's going on with the NFC North and all that stuff. But if you like the video, if you're new, please subscribe, please share. You know, just help us out. So that's it. Go Lions. See you next week.